That's
And,
incredible.
and you go through this process of, I lost about 35, 40 pounds. Uh, I, uh, I lost all my hair. I mean, now I have all my hair back. That's all I care about. I didn't care about the tumor anymore. I just wanted my hair back. And typically,
I can appreciate that, Mike. I'm almost 40, and my dad was fully bald by like 19. So to still have my hair, I can agree with that. I'm very happy.
yeah, I mean, that's a man thing, right? Uh, but it's just something that you get hit with, and you're struggling with the fact that, I mean, I speak for a living. I mean, I do the
Yeah.
speaking gigs. I go out. I do presentations, and they were telling me that there's a chance that I would never speak again.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so you live with that, and you understand, and it's kind of funny, Jeremy, because my kids will tell you that my life is definitely defined by what we call AC and BC.
Hmm.
Okay, before cancer and after cancer. And what you figure out is that, as I wrote about it in the book, that stress is the silent killer, and
Hmm.
number two, men don't get checked. And so one of the before my father passed away in 1997, the last words he said to me was, "Son, make a difference." Now, I figured he thought it was about my coaching and working with kids and things like this, but I do think that it's taken a step further to try to talk to, especially men. Of course, you
Hmm.
have to talk to the women and say, ladies, it's up to you to get your man to go get checked. Okay, whether it's your husband, your spouse, your significant other, your uncle, your dad, your next door neighbor. But uh, these are the kind of things that if you do get checked, it's caught in time. And again, I mean, you're talking to somebody that honestly had never been sick a day in his life. And when something like that happens, that's where the focus begins on making sure that you talk about today.
Hmm.
Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us. And so Tim Tebow talks about it's that it's not about any day, it's about today. And so that's one of the things that I try to get across to the people that I speak to and the audiences that I speak to, is that this is about today, and what you can do today can have a great influence on what happens tomorrow. But it's about what you do today. And like I said, this was something that just kind of, it catches your attention. I remember the doctor said, "Okay, we're going to start chemotherapy on Sunday." And this was
Wow.
on Wednesday. And I said, "Which Sunday?" He goes, "This Sunday." And I said, "Man, I can't do that. I've got this new district. I've got meetings set up. I am moving to my condo in Tennessee. That's just not going to work." I said, "What is plan B?" And this guy looked at me and he goes, "You die."
Wow.
And I said, "Okay, so what time do you want me on
I'll
Sunday?"
take plan A. Well,
Yeah.
Mike,
So,
it makes me think of another baseball reference as well, because you mentioned kind of that that before cancer mindset and kind of that after, and I'm sure like your approach and the process changes as well. It's like you look at like let's say like CC Sabathia, or let's look at like Clayton Kershaw, right? Like guys that in their first 5 years they come in, they're throwing 96, 97, 98, right? Like, and that's how they beat guys. They beat guys by throwing hard. But at some point in their career, they actually learn how to pitch, right? They learn how to hit spots. They learn how to fool a batter. They learn how to do all these different things. Like, to me, it sounds like going through this process is a lot like, if you take it the right way, a lot like learning how to pitch.
and I don't think, and those are great examples, but to me, the greatest example was Greg Maddux.
Mm-hmm.
Maddox pitched for 18 seasons. He came in throwing in the low to middle 90s. I saw a game he threw against Pettit in Houston, and he was throwing literally 83, 84 miles an hour. But the ball was moving, and he said, when I decided about 5 or 6 years into my career, I didn't need to strike everybody out. Then I
Mm-hmm.
became a pitcher and not a thrower. And that's a great reference that you use, because that's when you decide yourself, let's be a pitcher and not a thrower.
So how did that change perspectively for you then? Like when, when you have kind of this perspective change of you have this experience, you tackle it right away, you get through this experience. Like how does your perspective change from that?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and this is something, again, as far as a growth pattern for me, is that I have found out for myself that if I go to the grocery store, I know that I'm going to have to wait in line. I know that that lady in front of me's got 100 items in the basket. They all get charted through, and then she pulls out the checkbook and starts to write the check. I understand that's going to happen. I get cut off in traffic now. And honestly, I just kind of go, oh, wow, and smile. I mean, what you find out is that there's some things that, and with me before cancer, I thought was I needed to react to, I needed to do something about. And then you figure out, you know what? Life goes on. Take it easy. I came from Austin, Texas. I'm in Colorado Springs now. I had to get away from the heat, humidity, and the traffic. And you realize that if you're in Austin, Texas at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you're on Mopac Boulevard, you've got an hour drive wherever you're going to go. So you might as well either crank up the music or do something, because there's no reason to get upset. There's no reason to react like I know I would have 10 years ago versus how I react now.
It seems like that change can be really hard to make though, right? Like I think it can be difficult because, you have, past experiences and things that it may remind you of and whatnot. And I guess you have to kind of put new perspective, right? So I guess how did you put new perspective out there for yourself?
Well, I think it boiled down to that I knew that I had to make some changes in my life. I was not going to be, I wanted to try to be more proactive instead of reactive. I wanted to be more of, to listen, to not pounce, not react. I just felt like there were some changes that I needed to make in my life that where hopefully I would be easier to live with. I would be easier to be around. I would be a better husband. I would be a better father. I would be a better friend. And when those things come together, you honestly realize that that's really what's important.